In this video, I'm going to talk about 4 very common land buying mistakes. I see that happening all the time, and because of that, people are not able to make multi-crore rupees in profit. The very first common mistake is not moving fast. Acquisition lands in YEIDA move very fast. There are so many offers on the land that a land does not last more than 2 to 4 weeks in the market. Let me give you an example of my friend who has checked out 5 lands in just last year. Every time they would go with one of my team members, check out the lands, and by the time they would come back with a decision, the land was always gone. And then this cycle repeated. They would check out the land again. They would take a couple of weeks to get back to me and my team, and then the land is sold. Do not mistake land for flats and plots which can sit empty for many months. Another reason is that the price point of land is very low, like 15 lakh rupees a biga in YEIDA. At that price point, literally anybody can buy in the market. So if you like the land, you should immediately give 10,000 rupees or something like that token amount to a farmer within 1 or 2 days. That is how they get to see your seriousness and they lock the land with you. 10,000 rupees does not hurt to you, and it shows some very serious commitment to a farmer. And by the way, it's not 10,000 rupees always. For example, sometimes if I have to lock a land, I would give them a token amount of 50,000 rupees. Sometimes I've even given 2 lakh rupees just to lock the land. So view the land. If you like the land, immediately give the token money and then sell it within 2 to 4 weeks. Second biggest mistake that I see so often, not reviewing the land papers properly and reviewing land papers with wrong people and then asking the wrong questions instead of asking the right questions. So yes, I'm not saying blindly trust a farmer or me or anybody else. Verification is everything, but the right person to verify the lands is a Patwari. It's not a freaking lawyer. A lawyer does not know much about land purchases. They might give you 1 or 2 pointers, but beyond that, they are not in that business. So always go to a Patwari wherever you're buying. And a Patwari does not take much time, barely takes 1 hour and barely charges 2,000 or 3,000 rupees. Is a very neutral person and is going to tell you each and everything and things that you can't even imagine or comprehend. And one more thing, every area has its own micro laws. So sure, a Patwari in Jewar or Faridabad or anywhere will give you a very good idea, will be able to tell you a lot of things. But a Patwari in Mand Tehsil will be very accurate, will be very reliable. Third common mistake, which is related to this one, that after you have the khasra number, you can verify a lot of things on a couple of websites. These websites include UP Bhulek, Stamp and Registration Department, and UP Bhunaksha. So you can get a lot of details from there, including the ownership history of the land records, if there's any litigation on the lands, if there are any loans on the lands, what has been the farmer doing on that farm for many years, and many other things which I've covered in another video. So do check out that video where I'm opening all these 3 websites and I'm telling you how you can get the information from there. The fourth and the last most common mistake that I see a lot of people doing is buying from chalta-firta people, random brokers. This is a huge problem. Just to save some money or just because you want the cheapest lands possible, there are so many people who are going to cheat you. At one point of time in my life, I was obsessed with finding the cheapest lands. And you know what happened? People would sell me all kind of disputed lands. People would sell me the khadar jameen. This is a very dangerous thinking. The lands are already very cheap. The lands are costing you 166 rupees per square feet. If you want to go any cheaper, I am telling you in writing that people are going to deceive you. They will realize big time that you are very gullible and you're very cheap. And then they would sell you 4 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees a biga land in khadar jameen, or they'll sell you land in disputed properties, which by the way, you'll never be able to know. So buy it from somebody who's trusted, buy it from somebody who has a nice office, who has some presence on online or whatever, because their reputation is at stake. Also, I'm going to tell you one very quick incident that happened 2 years ago. An investor got fooled big time. So this person came to see the land with me. They had come on the site and we showed them all the lands. After that, I went back to my home, but they stayed there for some time. And later on, I found out that some chalta-firta dealers, brokers, got in touch with them, they exchanged numbers, and then he was looking for land at half the price, and he was from South Delhi, not knowing much, had never invested in lands, right? So these people, one of them, they sold him a khadar jameen, and he could never verify it if it wasn't a khadar jameen. And that was not it. They sold him another jameen, which was very disputed, had like 3 brothers, 2 sisters, fighting for the land, and the ownership was not clear as well. But that land was sold to him at 1/3 the price. Now there's a good chance that one day the court cases might get settled and he might have the land. But as you know, in India, the court cases are 20 years, 30 years. So he might get a lot of value at that point of time, but disputed land, fighting the litigation, going through all the hassles for what? For not that much returns, right? So I recommend stick to people whom you can trust, stick to people who have a lot to lose. Honestly, if I had a short-term vision, I would also sell you all the disputed lands and all the khadar jameen. But I have a long vision, and because this is a family business and because we are trying to build like a very premier brand name out there in the market, so we believe that we should sell only verified and genuine lands. We should show you the profit so that you invest more and more with us, and you would invest in more and more opportunities. So do investments with the right people first and foremost.